What is happening, YouTube land? What is happening, X World? Welcome to your Sunday edition of the greatest retro fantasy football fix there is on planet Earth or anywhere else in the galaxy. And if you don't believe me that this is the entertainment hub in the world, then where else would you start? With a weekend where 3 out of 4 of the FA Cup quarterfinals were absolute belters, and use this as the main event. And if you still don't believe me that with the exception of League Two, where football is fucking wank, that football is the greatest sport in the world, then aside from Cmsl, aside from absolute carnage in the FA Cup, I've just read a stat before going live that on New Year's Day 2024, Leeds United were 17 points behind Leicester. Today, Leeds went top of the league. What a game football really is. And football is all about big personalities and big opinions. And that is certainly something we've got for you tonight. Yes, there will be no background music and there will be none of me just trying to speed through it in record time to see if I can smash my own record. Because tonight I have not one but 2 co-coms. Yes, it is a menage a trois tonight as I get to welcome Duggan and Dimble to the stage. Gents, welcome to the greatest show on earth. Welcome to the tightest of run-ins in the history of Super League, of which you are 2 of the main components, the main protagonists of what is going on in the minute. And as I was saying, just as we hit live, you said it's very uncomfortable at the minute, Duggan, when you haven't got a horse in the race. It's just entertaining viewing, and that's what I get to watch every week.
Yeah, it's I think my recurring kind of bit of summary tonight will be it's the tightest it's ever been, but with no disrespect to anybody, because I don't think anybody particularly is doing enough to get there. And me and Tate will have this kind of back and forth all the time, which is about, you know, is it that the standard is just so high, or is it actually that this season has kind of been where some of the big players that have had pedigree for a long time have just struggled a little bit? I mean, I think me and Dimble both feel that we probably don't deserve to be in the 6, but hope we get there. Ian Edwards' Burn are kind of stumbling along. Vikings have hit a rough patch. Stanley have hit the wall, but also that's because of kind of injuries and suspensions. And then the teams below 6th and 7th can't get any run of fun going other than sloth. So it's it's always up for debate whether it's the tightest it's ever been, but it's the most unusual it's ever been, I think, where you're not looking at 3 or 4 teams thinking they are nailed on. I think bar Badgers, it's all to play for everywhere else, I think.
Well, we can bring it up on screen here. So we know Vikings and Badgers, they've got their cues. Congratulations to both of them sides. But realistically, if you're looking at it from purely, without looking at the fixtures, purely from a points perspective, anyone from 3rd to 6th can drop out of the top 6 tonight because Duggan, your team there, Sanctay in 7th on goal difference, are only 2 points behind Northern Burn in 3rd. And realistically, anyone from 9th upwards could potentially be in the top 6 tonight in any random order. And even further, with 3 league games to go, you're still saying anyone from sort of 12th can finish inside the top 6.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've always said for a long time, 38 points is kind of where you want to be. If you're on 38 points after 26 games, you're more or less guaranteed, because of the precedent of what's went before us, you're more or less guaranteed to be above that dotted line. Last couple of seasons have been a little bit lower than that, which kind of tells you that the kind of standard has raised a little bit, and there's a bit of a plateau in kind of the formations and things. But Dimble, I mean, I don't know if you think that you're just kind of hoping you stumble across the line as well, mate.
Yeah, it's felt like that for a while now. It's a case of not being able to put anything together. But with 3 games left, it's you always got that hope, Duggan, haven't you, that you're going to win 3 games in a row now, and you're going to go into those playoffs on form and kind of be feared. But the way it'll go is one of us will probably miss out. Yeah, we're probably going to win 1 game each, and one of us will go out on goal difference or something like that. So that's the kind of season it's been so far.
And it's not I would like to. Oh, sorry, mate. Go on.
Sorry, Fyfie. I would like to see Stackington get there. I was one of the kind of loudest voices, kind of, ripping into Ross, and he's going to learn his lessons and all this sort of stuff. In the same way that I'd like to see Mike do really, really well, because I think Campbell said it a couple of weeks back. Those two have significantly outperformed what the consensus of the league was, really. Shout out to Alex as well. He donated like 50 quid to Horses Swim Stream on Friday night for Red Nose Day, by the way. And you come out of the thing, and he's just chucked half a Henry in the pot. So yeah, good to have you, Alex, mate.
And he's also dropped a message to say that he's up for, despite the fact that it's absolute chaos whenever we're in the same, presence as each other. He has actually said he's up for meeting up with me and Smuts sometime, as he's a Leicestershire resident as well. So fair play to him for that. He's not been scared off by our antics on screen.
That's one way of putting him off FIFA.
Exactly. Dimble, not to discredit, we spoke about, or we highlighted 12 sides in the intro there, not to discredit the other 2. The battle at the bottom's quite tasty as well, isn't it? Especially if Macca can find something that resembles form in the last couple of games.
It's interesting. Is Macca still in charge then? Is that confirmed?
He is. He's picked the team for tonight, and as far as I can gather from the message that I got with the team, unless Dan specifically says, I would really like a couple of games to kind of look at the team, Macca's happy to see out the season and try and not finish bottom.
Yeah, I mean, that's a positive thing, I think. But yeah, either way, it was fine. Obviously, Dan deserves his time, but it's come in. It'd be good for Macca to kind of get some semblance of a decent end to it after being a legend of the league, and obviously still is a legend, but to finish bottom would be a real kick in the nuts for him, I think.
Absolutely. Shall we get going then? What have we got in store? So, Dimble, you're at home to Sloths tonight, and Duggan, you're also at home to Dudley Hill tonight. So we'll try our best to save those 2 for the last 2 games. I'm very much aware that teams are already doing deals ahead of next season, and I'm sure Martin's delighted at the prospect of all the admin for it. So it's...
Wait a minute. Alf's finally 79. What? He's been 78 for 5 years, hasn't he? Happy birthday, Alf, mate. Happy birthday.
Is it really, Alf? Happy 79th for tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, happy birthday, Alf, mate. All the best from all of us. What a legend.
Legend.
There are... I don't know how... I'll be honest, I've been kind of... away from the social media side of it for the last 48 hours. I don't know how open certain managers have been, but there are I think there are two teams in particular tonight who have had absolutely appalling packs, where we're talking 4, maybe 5 players missing, and it's come at the worst possible time.
Yeah, it's the kick in the nuts when you get that pack through. Especially mine aren't loaded at the minute. They've been coming through fine, but at the minute they're getting a fuzzy, and you can just see that patch of red. You wonder who the fuck is that and what's happening. And you have to like disconnect your Wi-Fi and all sorts trying to get it to come up. And like, yeah, so I got a surprise one in my pack, and I know people are a lot worse off than that. So yeah. It's annoying to say the least.
Well, let's see where the game wants us to start and what a game it is. How is he? Oh, it's because I've got reserves on. That's why. Let's try that again. Let's start with LSK at home to Foss Road. They are without. We're looking at the away team first, and Gerard, the only unavailable player, he is suspended. So Maresca comes in for him. Kluivert comes into the starting lineup as well, now that he's finally fit again, with Santa Cruz dropping to the bench. I want to say there was another one, but I don't believe there actually was. So, yeah, those are the two changes. I said that Foss Road were out of it before Thursday's game. They went and came from 2-0 down away at Vikings to win 3-2, and they're back in the hunt, Duggan.
Yeah, I think Smuts gave up about 6 games ago, and I remember saying to him, you're never really out of it until game week 24, 25, particularly this season for all the kind of preamble I gave at the start. I think, what you've got to say about this Unicorn side is that the season 2 project has failed massively, and Smuts' faith in some of his home save favourites is now resoundingly kind of misplaced. And to be fair to him, he's really hit the reset button with the deals that are on offer. I think the deal that he's done with Edwards is massive for him, and I think it puts him in a significantly stronger position going into next season in terms of the first 11. But look, he's playing Los Santos, who have scrambled around for a long time but have put a bit of form together. Smuts gets 3 points here, and he's essentially a point outside of the top 6 with 2 to play, and then he plays me next. So it's still in your hands. You're not out of it until you're out of it, basically. So big chance for Fossey this tonight.
No, absolutely. Dimble, let's have a quick look then as well at the home side. A couple of changes for Jamie as well, who, it has to be said, 2 wins in the last 2, and to be fair, 3 in the last 4, has really seen their season turn around. Yes, they're not in the playoff hunt, but they're kind of moving away from bottom where they've been marooned for so long. They bring which way around did they do this again? So Vasilyuk is on the bench in place of, I want to say, Tristan. Yep. And the other change, Jana Cheddar out for Kaluzhny in the starting 11.
He's found a formula that's working, and it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't look like it would work. I don't like that big hole. There's no one in it. But he's tried to be consistent all season, and he's found something that's working. So there's no reason to tweak too much. If you compare this to League 2, Fyfie, he's a bit like Grimsby at the minute. He's won a couple of games. He's off the bottom. Does that make Fulchester Swindon?
That was wrong. There we go. Yes, Fulchester looking like relegation fodder, much like Swindon, because we're fucking awful. I said in the intro, League 2 was shit. We don't need to talk about that. I got that one wrong. So Tristan stays on the bench. Del Piero comes out the 11 for Vasilyuk. I did just double check that one because it didn't look right. So Vasilyuk starts, Tristan on the bench. Unicorns have already won 1 key game tonight. Okay, sure. Predictions in the chat then for game week 1. As you said, Duggan, although LSK want to finish the season strong, this is a much bigger game for Foss Road. So, Dimble, I'll ask you first. Score prediction, please.
1s each.
1s each. Duggan?
That's exactly what I went for with Swanee. 1s each.
Oh shit, yeah, Swan. Did I do it before I press kickoff?
Yeah.
Did I do it?
You're in the mix as well, aren't you, mate? I think.
I think I've tailed off massively.
If you want to get your predictions in, I'll do the commentary.
Yeah, I'm just checking quickly while you two negotiate. No, I haven't. Fuck, right. Negotiate a deal live on street.
I've done that a couple of times, Fyfie, where I've had to check, and usually I've been all right. But the first game kicks off and go, oh fuck, what did I put?
Yeah,
and
go on, Fyfie, hit kick off, and I'll give it the old first half commentary.
Good lad. I'll put my predictions in now before I see anything.
Good stuff. And we're on the way, Los Santos against Fyfie. Yeah, absolutely. He'll get it in. Barthez with a big save there early doors. Lizarazu coming down the left-hand side. And there is Pizarro, who puts Los Santos 1-0 up. It's been a quiet season for Pizarro, but big goals and big games are kind of what he does. Van Bronckhorst goes into the book, another big save from Barthez. And there is the equaliser. Kluivert has been out for so long, 3 months, I think. Those put his side equal going into the half-time break. See Roberto coming more and more into it. Lizarazu there again, who's having a blinder. He's got to be at least on an 8 at half-time. We get half time and it's ones each. Duggan and Dimble both bang on the money, and Fyfie's probably not put ones each in.
He's
considering
not
the game was
unstoppable. I've literally just hit send on 2-2.
2-2.
Oh, that's convenient. Yeah.
Barthez with another big half, and Lizarazu seem to be having a blinder there, Fyfie.
Well, both teams created 4 opportunities, 2 on target for the home side, 3 for the away. Mine did predict 1-2 in the chat. If I was Foss Road, I'd be a bit concerned. It always worries me if I'm not winning at least 50% of my tackles. I prefer that to be a lot higher, sort of in the 60s, 70s, if not better. But anything less than 50, I am slightly worried. Looking at the home team stats, you said Barthez looked like he'd had a big half. He's one of a handful of players on a 7. It's fairly average, to be fair, from LSK. No one below a 6, no one above a 7. Van Bronckhorst has gone in the book. Conditionally wise, nothing there for Jamie to be too concerned about. A look over at Foss Road. Radoy, who I was talking to Smuts about earlier. Apparently he's a big season free player. Or was that Santa Cruz he was telling me about? Either way, I told him he was talking shit because he's wrong about both of them. He's got 1 player on a 5. He's got 2 players on an 8. Everyone else, again, 6 and 7. No one in the book and no one of real conditional issue. He may look at Van der Vaart on 86 and just want to keep an eye on that one. The Unicorns Penguins score, Martin. Okay.
I think that's another league that's done in secret, isn't it?
I've no idea.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen Jamie, I don't think, so I'll leave this on the screen for a minute for Smuts to have a look at. How's the? I'll be honest, I haven't paid too much attention. How's the start to the new US version gone?
It was canny, mate.
Yeah,
go on.
We had one show on Wednesday. Yeah, one show on Wednesday, and loads of goals, loads of action, and it's a new format. It's a bit weird.
So completely anti-Super League in recent weeks. Then lots of goals.
Yeah, it was a little bit, to be fair. Yeah, extra time when it's a draw, which is mad. But yeah, it was a good start.
Oh, so you can't draw games?
You can if it's level after 120 minutes, but you get a chance to get a
golden goal.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, it was good. Good first show. We're not going to do too many too fast, but I think we'll pick up a pace in a few weeks or something. But for now, it's just going to be 1 a week.
Smuts made the one change. Radoy off, Helguera on. Again, nothing from Jamie. Martin says the other league's not in secret, it's just not on Twitter. Fair enough.
I think it's the one that's done over like Zoom call or something like that. I think they're just like, which is fine. Yeah, it's just obviously we don't see anything of it.
Absolutely no idea. There seems to be quite a few all about again. It's nice to see the small horses back. You've got your one over in the States. Obviously, this is still going. I think there's other stuff still going on as well. So it's nice that there's still plenty of champ content out there for everybody. We've reached the hour mark. Still 1 apiece. Ratings have improved a little bit for LSK. Barthez now up on an 8. Every outfield player on a 7. Van Bronckhorst still the only player in the book, and no conditional issues. If you were Jamie in this situation, Dimble, would you be making any changes to try and win the game?
Not with that bench, no. I think the players he's got on the pitch are the best players he's got. Yeah. I would.
Sorry, I said
maybe
small
stick an
horse
hour
again,
on.
didn't I? Not small horse. Swemp. Swemp is back.
Small horse is not deceased. It's just it's in a coma.
Small horse has got to be the worst concept in CM history because he never gets going. It's bizarre how many times he's tried to do this. Let's have a look at what's going on for Foss Road. A few more players up on 8s now, but still a couple mooching about on 6s. Alex and Santa Cruz are there to change the game if Smuts does want. Duggan, what would you be doing in this situation?
I'd be getting rid of Maresca and putting Rocky Santa Cruz up top with Clivert. I think this is, if you're Fossey, you need 3 wins out of 3 to be in the 6. I think, given their starting position, and Maresca's not offering much anyway as part of a midfield 3, and he's a bit shit. So you may as well have the 2 midfielders in there and the 2 up top with the 1 AMC. Got to be going for this. Although LSK looked probably the best they've looked all game in that little 20-minute window. I think it was a little bit black and silver, relentless text.
So what you're suggesting here is, as it's publicly well known that he's soon to have his balls chopped off, he might as well go balls out in the last couple of games.
Absolutely. If he doesn't fall asleep because he's always tired. They'll probably not even need to give him. They'll probably not even give him need fucking that anaesthetic. He'll just be a clip as the sawn on his fucking balls there.
I'll tell you for nothing. He will not be falling asleep during that procedure. He'll be wide awake.
He has taken your advice here, Maresca for RSC, who's going to the left of Clivert. Lovely, thank you so much. Let's see if it works out for him. And now the ghost of Stemp has come back into the chat as well now. Excellent stuff. Vasilyuk with a chance, fails to convert for the home team. And there is Clivert with his 10th of the season. And how important could it be for Foss Road that he is back and fit in the last couple of games? Oh, they almost get a third to wrap it up. Are they going to rue that missed chance as LSK start to come forward? 3 minutes being added on. A gap goes in the book. Oh, and another chance wasted for the away side. But I think possibly for the first time in his CMSL career, 2 away wins on the drop for Foss Road. And that's a massive 3 points for them, but that has everyone in that pack now, Duggan, with like, oh no, not another one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if anything, probably a little bit of kind of impetus in terms of if anybody else finds themselves 1 goal behind it at any point. I think Rocky Santa Cruz might have got the assist there as well.
I think you may be right. But Bartes still ends up on a 9. Standard Super League stuff, that. Not actually a bad performance if you base it solely on the numbers for LSK, and they might find themselves somewhat unfortunate. But Clivert did get man of the match, and you're right. No, Santa Cruz didn't get an assist there. 1 for Emerton and 1 for Hoffland.
That is a harsh 7 for Hoffland.
It's a
really
very
harsh 7.
Harsh 7 for Hoffland, very much so.
There's something in that though for Smuts. He's came back from a goal behind there. Patrick Clivert comes in after 3 months out, gets 2 goals, man of the match, and he's putting pressure on the teams around him. It's still in the mix.
He certainly is. Dimble, what's your reflection on that game? Duggan said there that obviously there's something in it for Smuts, but it's not all doom and gloom for Jamie that either, is it?
No, I didn't really watch the game. I was just stood in the stands, lovingly gazing at Bartes, looking, thinking how good he looks, thinking he'd look good in white and green next season.
You think there's something in it for you, or is there already something in it for you?
Well, there might well be, but Foss Road, yeah, great. That's the second time he's come back from behind as well recently, and I mean, who'd have thought it? If you just kind of play the game properly, you might actually get some wins away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be flying in the 6 if he hadn't done his whole "I don't care, wear shit." I'm not playing anybody who's remotely decent from about game week 14 to about game week 20. Total self-sabotage.
We're going to go to top of the table Vikings next. They travel to Stackington. And they go unchanged despite the defeat to Foss Road. Jens saw enough in the performance to say that maybe it was just a bit of a fluke. the way it ended. So that means them lining up like this. And I know we've spoken a lot about certain players in this team, specifically Dimble, but it can't go without saying what an impact Henry has had on this season. And he's possibly saved his own CMO 102 career at Vikings this year, because nobody's ever really rated him until now.
No one's backed him. Well, I think people have backed him before, but no one's stuck with him. But it's easy to stick with someone when they score kind of 10 goals in 10 games, isn't it? I think everyone backs the players that play well, and Henry has let people down quite a bit. He's always been okay for me. I had him for a couple of seasons. He's always been solid, but never to that level at all. Just looking at this Vikings team, it's Cafu's the big miss for Jens. I think his dipping form has come with Cafu being in and out of the team because of injury and such.
And it's been a real problem for him recently, because he came back for only about 2 games after a long-term injury and then's been missing again.
Exactly that, yeah. And Pat Satsoglu is not a bad player, but Cafu was he was the creative force, I think, from the whole team, and they've missed him a lot. But the rest of it is solid. He's not going to obviously get beat by many in any game, and he's been unbelievable. One of the best teams we've ever seen in the Super League. I think if he can finish it off in any decent way, he's kind of that blip recently. It's probably cost him from going close to Devils of old.
But I think equally, and we all 3 of us know as well as every team will have a blip. You'd rather it now going like just before the playoffs start than kind of not have had it before the playoffs start.
Yeah, if you went into the playoffs with kind of 16 games unbeaten or something, you'd think when it's coming.
Yeah. Whereas if he can like get say 2 wins from the last 3 games now, he'd be quite happy going into them.
Yeah, and he needs to show a little bit of form in his last 3 games, doesn't he? But yeah, if he can do that, then he'd be well pleased. But obviously, Jens is a massive pessimist, so he'll just say he's losing. So,
mate, about 85% of the Super League are massive pessimists.
Very true.
Duggan, let's have a look at the home side for this one then. A couple of changes for them, including the return of Amoroso into that AM position. And another manager who's back to striker. Ebby Sanders had fits and starts in the Super League, but he seems to be in good form again for this Stackington team.
Yeah, I think it was Greavesy with Loco in season 7 that had Ebby Sand doing bits. And Ebby Sand's kind of a player I've always tried to get for cheap over the last 6 or 7 seasons, but never really brought the bank to get him. But yeah, Ross has proven that Sand and him as a manager have got a seat at this table, really. And I think this is a really good example of a tactic file being more important than the actual personnel that are within it, and outperforming the kind of the individuals that are in there. There's very few that any other manager would have in their starting 11 over what they've got at the minute. But credit to Ross, he's on an unreal run of form. He's kind of held his nerve. His head hasn't gone when he was getting absolutely tanked 3 and 4-0 every week. And there's players that have really stepped up for him. Asun Sao stepped up for him. Perry's been good at the back. Ebby Sand that we just spoke about, and that AM line looks miles better for having Amoroso in there as opposed to the likes of Morientes having to play AMC as an ST. So Stackington are probably up there in terms of form in the league table. I haven't seen the form table for a while, but I wouldn't know. But you'd see on current form,
Ross
absolutely.
There you go.
Mate. Yeah, there we go. They're top. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
So yeah, absolutely. Look, there's if you took Stackington, Stanley, and Badgers on current form, you'd say they absolutely deserve to be in there in terms of what they've done over the course of the season as well. So I think Stackington could get something here, but a win would be absolutely huge for them in terms of their top 6 push.
No, absolutely. This obviously Vikings already having their queue. Dimble, do you subscribe to the game engine? Does kind of what happens in real life that players take their foot off the gas a little bit, or is it not built in your opinion?
Yeah, the game engine has got a mind of its own. Definitely, there's certain things that just aren't going to happen on any given day, but those things will be randomized, and the players taking the foot off the gas. I think it could be a case that if a player's got loads of goals, I might think, well, he's got too many goals for these ability, I will hold him back a bit. Maybe that's the case, but there's definitely like a randomized element to it that on any given day you're not going to get what you deserve, or your team's just not going to turn up, or your team's going to be brilliant even though you've done the same tactic file that's been shit for 5 weeks. So there's definitely that part of it.
All right, predictions in the chat again then, please. Duggan, I'll ask you first on this occasion.
I went for another 1-1 here.
Okay, and Dimble?
I think Vikings going to bounce back tonight. I think it's been 1-0 Vikings.
Okay, lovely. Let's see which one of you, if either, is correct. First chance of the game went to Vikings, but Stackington playing their way back into it. Pile driving effort. And there's an early injury, and it's Rayed that goes off after just 22 minutes. Imagining a straight swap with Rui Costa coming here. Although we have seen Morientes play that position a few times for Stackington as well. We have a 2-0 prediction. Smuts saying 0-0 in every game. Let's see if either of those are right. And Boss confirming that it will be Rui Costa coming on. So we can do that. And straight back to the action. 26 on the clock as Henri puts one wide. A fairly even game this looks on at least the text that I'm seeing. Both teams creating at least opportunities. Henri seems a little bit wasteful as we get to halftime. Perhaps not as many as I was expecting. Vikings double the amount of chances, 4-2. Both sides only with one on target. That's probably about what I was expecting. We did see a lot of blasting over and blasting wide. Dimble, let me ask you, as we look at the player stats, would both teams take a point here, do you think?
I think probably yes. I think Jens will just be looking to secure second. Stackington are probably just looking to kind of, against a very good team, stay in the race. So yeah, I think a point would probably be shook upon if they could agree that before the match. Yeah.
And just looking here again, another team that's literally only got 6s and 7s, nothing above or below sort of average. Mendieta, the only player in a book for the home team. Over at Vikings, very similar reading there, with the exception of nobody in the book. Do you think this is, Duggan, let me ask you, do you think this one could just be sort of a battle of two even teams on the day? And if it is, does that kind of say more about Stackington, as you were kind of alluding to in the intro, than maybe it does of Vikings, who have already got their cue?
Yeah, you've just took the words kind of exactly out my mouth as I was going to summarise there, which was what I was going to squeeze in there was the kind of the job that Ross has done tells you in this performance. You know, the Vikings didn't blow them away in terms of the text. They were very much in there. They created a couple for themselves. Henri missed a couple, but yeah, you know, this is Stackington's season turned around in a nutshell. Really, they went toe to toe with head and shoulders the best team in the league this season and not looked out of place.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ross going as is. Have I seen Jens yet in the chat? Is he about? I don't think so, actually. I'll give him another 20 seconds or so, just in case. And it gives me a chance to remind everyone, in case you did miss it. I know we spoke about it on the last show as well. The remaining... So this is game week 24? Yeah, 24. No, 23. What game week are we?
23.
23. Game week 24 is on Thursday.
24.
24.
Yeah.
Game week 25 is this coming Thursday. And then we have a week's break while I'm on holiday, with game week 26 coming essentially 2 weeks today. We round off the season, or the generic season anyway. So yes, we got a game on Thursday, and then 2 weeks today is game week 26. So plenty of time for your extracurricular activities, your Jackbox meetups on Zoom, your extra streams of let me get this right one this time, of Swemp or the American one, or sorry, I keep forgetting what you've called the American one. That's why I keep calling it the American one.
The All-Stars, the All-Star Atlantic League.
Of course. So plenty of that, and of course, Smuts and I are putting a plan together for bonus limbs somewhere along the line as well. We're thinking of maybe doing something the Saturday night before the season finishes on the Sunday, potentially.
The Jackbox Zoom things have not happened in absolutely donkeys, Fyfie, mate. And I think they were a relic of lockdown. I think.
I think there's every chance you can bring them back, mate.
Yeah, they were good crack. But that was bizarre time.
If nothing else, and you know how Smuts and I have been trying to do like a CMSL Among Us properly, If nothing else, I've got 2 of the Jackbox things on this laptop now, which includes the one that we like the most, which I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, the cutter.
No, not the cutter one. No, fucking that. I still got PTSD from the fucking cutter.
Mate, you can just have my login details and just download them all. Use them on late limbs if you want.
I think I actually weed myself when Steve was the cutter. Like, genuinely weed myself.
But I've also got a liking for the rap game one, so I've got that as well. If you've not played that, so we may well do that if nothing else.
Yeah, just have my login, mate. I've got about 20 Jackbox games on there.
Absolutely nothing has happened pretty much up to the hour mark, so we might as well have just spoke through the game instead of waiting. I know I asked you at the break, Dimble, if both teams would take a point. Is it too obvious to say a win is more important for Stackington at this point?
Yeah, I mean, they would absolutely love a win, yeah. A win for Vikings just kind of like standard business, but a win for Stackington would mean more in the context
Especially
of the season and just emotionally as well, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And like I say, this is the business end, so every point you get from here on in is very, very important. So 3 would make a massive difference.
No, absolutely. Every goal, every booking, every injury, it all makes such a difference now with so few games to go. I don't think Jens is about. So, again, Duggan, I'll ask you, with all your experience in the Super League, looking at those ratings and that condition with the scoreline as it is, would you be making any changes?
No, I think Vikings is just about finishing top 2 now. His form hasn't been great. Cafu's obviously a big miss. He's coming back probably in about a fortnight or so time. You just get over that line. What I would say, Fyfie, in terms of your question to Dimble about the game engine, there is something in kind of, the odds falling in a particular team's favour. Like if we look at Badgers, they're second in the form table, and Badgers have been great for the last probably 5 games.
Yeah.
But also the results that Tato needed to make those 5 games even better have all happened. Like literally the last 3 or 4 streams, Tato has almost got, but he probably has, like the perfect outcomes in other people's games as well. And it's those sorts of things that kind of give you that little sense that, some people hit that form. Greavesy did it with Celtics a few seasons back. Dragons were notorious for it. Those kind of back end of the season where the kind of the dice just roll in your favour. Badgers seem to be that team at the moment. So
we've got Morientes coming on for Amoroso. They're going 2 up top, Stackington with Costa in the middle. Again, similar to what you were saying about Foss Road in the last game, Duggan, that this is Ross clearly going for it. He respected the opposition that he was up against, but at home with so few games left, and as Dimble was saying, every point being crucial, he is going for it at this point. I've mentioned it a few times. I don't know what you think, Duggan. It doesn't surprise me if you go back, say, 10 game weeks, and I was ripping this Stackington squad apart for what I called the worst DM line in Super League history. The minute they started putting almost a proper Super League DM line in place, their form improved drastically. Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of telling Ross you can't go wrong with a solid 2-4. When he was having that, I had the conversation with him. I said, if nothing else, get that bank 2-4 right, and kind of the CMO 1 or 2 likes a really solid back 6, and then build from there. And that's exactly what he did. Not because any of us said it, but obviously he's been kind of play testing and home testing and stuff, and the difference it makes. I wouldn't have made this ballsy move against Vikings, by the way. So if it comes off, absolutely credit to him. But we'll see. What's your thoughts on testing v not testing? Because obviously, no matter how much you test, you can't replicate what's actually going to happen on the save. But do you guys still test a lot, or are you kind of comfortable enough in what you're doing that you don't need to? Oh, heartbreaking goal for Stackington.
That's a heartbreaker. Brozek's not done much yet, has he? That's interesting to see him coming.
That's a massive difference maker, that, isn't it? The difference between a 0-0 v Vikings and getting beat 1-0 in game week 24 is huge. Yeah, no, absolutely. And Stackington possibly feel they were good value for a point as well, matching their visitors on a number of the key sort of performance markers.
Shay Given continues to be one of the better players. Ashley Cole, the only player in the home side getting an 8 or higher. Subs having something of an impact, but unfortunately not enough on their day. And that was the case, wasn't it? I mean, you kind of said in the build-up to this one that Stackington haven't got a squad necessarily where people will be clamouring for their players to replace their first 11s at least. And maybe they just didn't have enough star power, Duggan, to outdo. But then again, Vikings goalkeeper's got man of the match, so it tells you Stackington were very much in it.
Yeah, a couple of massive saves from Chiotis, and from what I know of what Ross has done, he has looked to cash in some of those big chips. So that'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Huge win to turn the form round for Vikings, as we were saying before the game ahead of the playoffs, but that was a massive wound of Stackington, and depending on other results tonight, could all but see them out. One game could just see them out of the race entirely. We don't want Sancte Dudley next. No, they're playing you. So Exiles are playing Northern Burn. This is a fascinating game, this one. Absolutely anything can happen. And we're looking at the home side first, who have tweaked the tactics. They've gone back to the YY. At home, I know some people don't mind doing one at the back at home, but Dimble, one at the back versus Burn.
It's suicidal.
Ballsy?
But, yeah, it's probably too ballsy, but I think one at the back's it'll work in some games, quite a lot of games, but it'll let you down massively in others. I don't think it's a formula that's going to get you success over the season, but on a one-off game, it could blitz a team. And if I was Ian now, I'd be kind of 50% pleased to see it one at the back, and I'd also be 50% shitting myself because you know what can happen. That probably sums it up as well as I can.
No, absolutely. You're very knowledgeable about the game, so I wonder if you could explain something to me, please. The affectionately named Charlie Chaos. I look at him and think, what the fuck? Why? But since he's come in, he's got Young Player of the Month. The media are now talking him up, asking for international call-ups and everything. Why? What's going on?
I don't know about the media stuff because usually that's reserved for kind of like high reputation players or whatever. But the reason he's good is good physical stats, and that 20 in tackling there is like worth more than a 20 in tackling that Sammy Hoopi has got, for instance. It just means he tackles like a bastard if he gets in the right place, and the fact that he can move around the pitch because he's got decent physicals means he gets there more often than not. But I still think
and the work rate.
Yeah, the work. So he's got work rate. Yeah, he's got like the physical, like he can move around the pitch. He's strong. That right hand column people used to talk about. So that's the reason he's effective. But I still think he's shit.
Yeah, lovely. At least I'm not on my own. Let's have a look at Burn, who, I mean, there's not much to say, Duggan. They are as is.
Yeah, and I think I was on core comms about kind of 6 or 7 weeks ago, and Burn were kind of stuttering then, and I'd kind of said, I think we could be in for a really unusual summer with Edwards, where he does look to do something kind of really, really different. And again, I think he's another one who's pulled the trigger early on some deals, which are really, really interesting. I love it when people tear it up and kind of hit the reset button. But Northern Burn, they don't concede many. They edge more close games than they lose. And if you talk about level-headed managers who are just the type of person you want in the seat or behind the seat at the business end of the season, then it's Edwards, really.
One win in 8 games, though, Duggan.
Yeah, and you'd be looking at it thinking, this is my bad run, it's going to be over. This is my bad run, it's going to be over. And, they were flying at one point, so he's kind of got that luxury, but it only takes one game to flip how you feel about your team in Super League. He goes out and beats Exiles 3-0 tonight, and then he's not asked about the last 8 games. But if Exiles get anything from him tonight, then he's got some teams breathing down his neck who are still to play.
Absolutely. Score predictions in the chat then, please. I believe Dimble, it's your turn to go first.
2-1 to Northern Burn.
And Duggan?
I have went... Sorry, Fyfie.
Right.
I have went ones each.
Lovely. See what happens. It's remarkable for me that Exiles are so much in the hunt after the the start to the season they made, and I remember sort of sarcastically saying that it's not the Exile teams that I left because they're just not entertaining at all, despite the promises made at the start of the season by the new manager. But Rox, being Rox, has certainly stuck two fingers up at me and said, well, look, I'm still very much in the hunt for this top 6 position, which should realistically be the minimum expectation when you consider the team he took over. But Totti, on the stroke of half time, has seen the away side going 1-0 up, and as was mentioned before, Burn do tend to win more sort of on the edge games than they don't. And this one's fairly close. Burn have created more opportunities, and Exiles haven't troubled the goalkeeper once yet. All the other, you look at passes, tackles, and headers, it's all very, very similar. So it's just Burn having the more effective attack at this point, Dimble.
Yeah, he's got the knack of winning those side games, like we said. I think he's got big players that are reliable in kind of key moments, and Totti's one of those. Montella's another one. So yeah, it's kind of typical Burn. He'll be happy to see that, and 100% it'll be an as-is, won't it?
Chaos, the only player rating above a 7, of course, because we said he was shit. Everyone else rating 6s, with the exception of Nesta and Fieri, who are both on 7. And yes, before he's even seen the stats, and as is. Although it might not have been as entertaining as was promised at the start, Duggan, have you enjoyed the fact that Rox has failed to comply with traditional Super League tactics throughout the season, still trying to do things his own way?
I mean, yeah, look, I think initially you respect it, but it doesn't, you can either be competitive or innovative in this league. I've long said that. You cannot be both. And that for me felt really, really dominant from Northern Burn. I think Rox is a little bit lucky. And there's Charlie Chaos.
Best player on the pitch for Exiles goes against himself sent off. And I believe he's also given away a penalty. Now, Rox
is not a good result for me in Dimble, this mind. This is not a good result for me in Dimble.
No. Rox isn't about he's losing and doesn't have a DM on the bench. So I'm tempted to leave it as it is.
I would agree.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I'd confirm my agreement on that. Yeah, I think he'd do that.
I'll give Ian a minute to tell me that he wants to keep it as is and doesn't want to change anything. There we go. He's not messed about. Oh, no, that was his halftime one. I thought, fucking Elliot, that was very punctual. But yeah, he does have the opportunity to change for being a red card. You were saying, Duggan, this isn't a good result for you.
Yeah, not at all. I think what Edwards will do is hopefully Totti scores this penalty, and then he gets to 60 minutes and he gets a couple of these yellow cards off, because that'll be what he's thinking about in terms of that playoff running and suspensions, game week 25, 26.
Montella does score from the spot to make it.
Do you ever think Edwards is like messaging his children on like WhatsApp? Something he types A and it predicts as is Fyfie, as is plays Fyfie on his WhatsApp. Yeah,
they're like Dad wants for tea or something. He's just like as is.
Yeah.
We have got to 65. It is. It's 2-0 to Burn. Exile's not really offering much. Fieri is up to an 8. It's always going to be difficult when you're a man down, home or away against Burn. But for the benefit of Rox, that's what your team looks like at this stage. Interesting to see. He has got 3 yellows. So does he make the 3 changes as per? I mean, Totti, Fiore, and Montero. The irony that none of them really have a direct replacement on the bench, I suppose.
No, not of any quality. I mean, I've spoken to Ian about this before, and he likes to just cover all positions on the bench rather than worry about quality as such. But I think it doesn't strike me as one to rest players. I mean, Montero probably needs saving from himself, doesn't he?
See, again, let me just check on this, because where does it tell me? Is it the next one over? Yeah, see, again, this myth that he's a red card merchant, he hasn't had one.
That's his 10th for the season. He's got too much ban coming up. Is that right?
No, he's just served it because he's already got 9 yellows.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he's got 10 yellows now. It's quite a lot. His red card. Yeah, he's obviously my neutered refs have helped him, and certainly helped the flow of each stream as well.
No, I enjoyed the chaos of all the red cards.
I didn't enjoy waiting for all the fucking the messages to come through for changes. Double change every time as a red, and there's like 4 a game.
So just the one change, Carlos being swapped for Junior is the only one for Burn. Let's resume the action and see what happens in this remaining 20 plus minutes of this game. Now they've got Montero obviously did need saving, but not from himself. I'm presuming we're going to see Raymer come on.
Yep.
There's definitely an As Is Please comic strip series in there somewhere. I would love some creative genius to do a Super League cartoon strip.
Well, Fyfie, listen, get your thoughts on this while we're waiting on this, right? So this is an idea I've long been toying with. So this is my idea at present: 7 days in Super League, right? Mm-hmm. And I've found all of the WhatsApps from when me and Horse rumbled that Ryan was cheating.
I've heard this before, yeah. I knew you had the messages.
7 days in Super League as like a, you know, as a little kind of chapter a week. And the great thing about it is it's literally like, so Horse messages me, kind of, he's onto something. We do some digging, discover something. Then we add Tato into this chat. He confirms. Then we add Dimble in when he's on holiday in Spain, by the way, doing the Macarena. And then we add Jens, who's convinced it's a joke. Then we add Steve. So I think, 7 days in Super League. What a win that is for Northern Burn.
Yeah, much like Vikings earlier, it just sorts their form out going into it and probably gives them their cue now, possibly. I'm trying to remember what they were on. Suggesting it's a feature for the late limbs off season. But a huge win that for Burn. And another result actually for those, I suppose, in the chasing pack, Dimble, it's actually a good result in a way.
It's not the worst result. Presuming, I think obviously Duggan's got his eye on finishing above Burn there, but yeah, in terms of the people behind us, which could be a bigger problem, it's not too bad. It's a proper get right game for that Burn though, isn't it? 1 at the back, 10 men, brilliant, love that, and rubbing his hands in Edwards when he saw that, absolutely brilliant.
Could not agree more. Let's have a look at the Burn stats then, and it's 2-goal Montella who gets man of the match.
Great player, Montella. Great player. Fantastic player. What a guy.
Is he going to be in a different strip next year?
No, he's just a fantastic player, Fyfie.
Okay. Only the injured Montero and the watched by Alf Fiore rating below a 7. As Ian said, he needed that. So congratulations to Northern Burn. So no, who Fulchester played? Haggis. Yes, so we go to rock bottom Fulchester, who make a couple of changes from last time out. Wellens comes in for Donny, who drops to the bench. Gattuso is in for the injured Tudor, and Anelka starts for the first time in what seems ages as Romario drops to the bench. When you look at this team, Duggan, do you question how it's got to the point that this 11 in itself has managed to find their way bottom of the table?
Unfortunately not, mate. I just think the midfield's just nowhere near good enough. It doesn't really do any of the particularly kind of good things you need from a midfield, especially if you're playing a flat 4-1 DMC. Vogel's good, but he's not kind of up there. I wouldn't have him in my top 10 DMCs to kind of do that lone role. I think Lucio and Materazzi are, liabilities. They love a red, they love a 5. Frey again is a keeper that's a bit of a liability. I know Mac is absolutely convinced that we sabotage Fulchester as some sort of punishment for Ryan, but it's just not good enough anywhere on the pitch. I think I wouldn't necessarily expect it to finish 14th. You're right, but I definitely think they'll be in the kind of bottom 3 in the table.
Okay. They come up against a Haggis team who failed to submit. I think this is the first time this season that a team has failed to submit. So I am just going to make changes for players who aren't currently in the squad and do
That's
nothing
your boy Guigo getting a run out there, Fyfie.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? I'd love. I don't think he's played that much this year, has he? he's played a few, I suppose. He doesn't seem to have played for a while. I'd love someone to go and rescue him because he's actually a decent player. And I think he's won the Super League a couple of times as well. I think if someone could go and rescue him and get him back in a starting 11 somewhere, I'd enjoy seeing him strutting his stuff on the Super League pitch again.
I agree. He's decent. He's got a place in the squad, but I don't think he's ever going to be a starter for anyone other than you, Fyfie, unfortunately.
No.
He's a good player. I do like him. I'm not saying he's bad.
And he's versatile. He could play anywhere as well. And also, although I think he's left-footed as opposed to either, but he's not left only, so it does allow that versatility.
He's the sort of player I think of when I think kind of what's a Fyfie player, like a Gravison, a Guigu, kind of Ouya, Tudor. That's kind of the players I think of when I kind of think of the players you like.
Ironically, Tudor's never played for me in the Super League.
All right, okay, but you like him? No.
He's all right.
Yeah.
I would say, if on paper he looks a good player, but he's a poor version of Ouya. I much prefer Ouya. I think he's a good. And I've lost count of how many times I've told Smuts to put him in the first team.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that he's being wasted.
Definitely do better than Maresca, wouldn't he?
100% better than Maresca. And I can tell you now, if he was in charge of Leicester this year, they wouldn't have bottled a 17-point lead from January. So there you go. He's probably a better coach than him as well. What have we got? No submission or explanation. No, I got a message to say that he was back into his Haggis Twitter account and then didn't hear from him again. Maybe he was
probably got to go Robert and switch him with Monterrubio, have you? There's nothing really else much knocking about there, is there?
Also, Tradzi and Guigu on the wing.
Yeah, Guigu could go on the wing and Tradzi.
I'm not putting Guigu out on the wing. No,
both of those are lefties, aren't they? It's fine. He's got nothing else.
Oh, well, then in which case I'll just let Robert play there. 16 points clear of Leeds. And Smuts saying they'll both rot in the reserves next season. And that is why you will never make the playoffs for shit decisions like that. Maybe he would suit Stackington, says Ross. Maybe he would.
Need a full Chester win, yeah, Fyfie. I backed Haggis, but I need a full Chester win, yeah.
Yeah, is that what we're saying? We need Macca to turn up.
Yeah.
It looks like they're getting themselves in positions. Haggis have probably shaded it, but Fulchester are certainly not out of this.
Definitely a red in this. There's tackles flying in left, right, and centre.
There's a lot of challenges going in. I mean, there's 4 minutes added on to the end of the first half. There is half-time, 0-0. Haggis have created more, 5-2, 3 on target to 1 on target. Pass completion similar, tackles very similar, and Fulchester shading it in the air. So not a bad performance by the away side. I know you said you need a Fulchester win, but if they would take any points off Haggis, it would be beneficial, Duggan?
Yeah. And what I probably would say about Fulchester this season is they've not had the luck in terms of these close games. So there's been games where they have been level at 45 or 60 and then have kind of been done 1 or 2-0 with a quick fire double. But that's probably more about kind of how busy Macca's been and kind of work life and all that sort of stuff and not being able to necessarily make the changes live. But it wasn't bad, just not very creative. And it does feel as though there's a red in this.
Yeah, no, definitely. Neither manager, I believe, in the chat, so I'm not going to waste too much time waiting for changes that aren't going to come through. What I will say is there does appear to be a fair few watching this live. So if you're new to the Super League, welcome. Live chat is available, not just on YouTube, but it does work on X as well. So feel free to say hi, send your comments in, and let us know that you're watching and where you're watching from and which teams you like the look of, because Super League is all about engagement. So feel free to get involved. Let's resume for the second half. Fulchester take the lead. It's Ronaldo. And suddenly the likes of Duggan and Dimble are watching slightly happier as they nearly go 2 up. And we pause the game on 65. You lose against Smuts, as asked the swear. So 66 on the clock, Duggan, and you may just about get your wish.
Yeah, they've had a fair few late goals, though, I guess, haven't they, over the last kind of couple of streams. I think the last one that Ian wasn't there for, he turned it around, didn't he? 3-1 or something, 2-1. So, yeah, it's not over till it's over. But You definitely wouldn't be hooking Walter Samwell on a 5 and a yellow, would you? Because he's Walter Samwell, so nothing to be done there.
No, we're unlikely to do anything to either squad, given that neither manager appears to be here. But fairly solid ratings here, Dimble, for the away side. It's looking promising for them.
It's been a professional performance so far, and Nauka's the only one that's letting him down. So if Nauka does turn up in these last few minutes, then they will definitely win it, because he's an absolute dynamite player.
Well, let's find out if they can go on to win it from here. They're putting the home side under a fair bit of pressure at the moment as well. They look the more likely. Oh, Frey let it run free, but Haggis failed to convert. Another opportunity for the away team. 4 minutes being added on. Let's slow it down a little bit. Pile driver, but it's gone over. Fulchester look like they've seen it out. Fulchester have seen it out, Duggan. 1-0 to the away side.
What a difference it makes when Sebastian Frey doesn't have hands made of sticky toffee, do you know what I mean? And just doesn't snap when he has to make a double save. That's probably the first result this season where it's been a 50-50 game and Mac has came out on top. So yeah, glad that he kind of stayed on. And yeah, opportunity for him to get off the bottom now. I think it's 21 points apiece between him and LSK now.
Given Fossey's
win. So yeah, still something to play for there. Dimble, have you got Fulchester
next week? Yeah. So hopefully they'll carry on, and
they've got to see in this.
We can play for one last time. Yeah.
I am Robin picking up man of the match, and as you said, what a difference it makes when Frey puts in a performance. There he is on a 9, and he keeps a clean sheet, reminding everyone that he does have some talent behind him. Massive win for Fulchester, but also a big result in that hunt for a top 6 spot. And Dan is in the stands watching, ready to take over when the opportunity arises. Stanley Badger's the last game not involving you two? Yes. And here is one of the teams that has had a horrible pack. So still no Scally, Sador suspended, Pinto injured, Phil Neville injured. Has seen Mike have to do a bit of mixing and matching. Although you might argue he's got the same amount of players missing as the last game week, but the last one he had more of his regular first choice players missing. It's always nice for me when Mido makes a starting 11, and there he is, partnering CMAC behind Sigalko, Sander Westerveld in goal. I'm still not convinced, and this is why you never really know what's going to happen in the Super League Dimble, because I now look at this Stanley DM line and think on paper it's not the best, but it does perform for him.
He's had a couple of key misses in there recently. Medina looks okay. He looks like he's developed quite well, but he's not quite at the level, but he looks like he could be a player.
Mm-hmm. Developed in another season or two's time.
He's a season 3 player, isn't he? Yeah, I think Foster
will be putting bid in.
Yeah. Sands class, Candelar, Salam, but yeah, the wing backs are good. So yeah, I think it's not a bad DM line, and obviously he's had a lot of kind of key players missing in those areas, especially the midfield areas recently. I'm pleased to see Mido playing, because he mentioned that Savage might get a game at AM. So if the options are Mido or Savage, I think the fact he was even considerate is a strange one for me, because Mido is actually a decent player, isn't he?
He certainly is. The one concern I have for Rose is a lack of attacking options, generally speaking. I mean, Sigalko, the only out-and-out striker in the squad, which means, you look at that subs bench and the most attacking player there is Sebastian Deisler.
Yeah, I think it's a common theme in his reserves as well. I don't think he's even got any kind of strikers in the reserves or anything like that. So he's really kind of shipped out his attacking talent.
You're right, yeah. Just loves having defensive players.
Yeah, he's definitely heavy in that area. I was looking through his squad earlier and thinking, is there anything attacking wise? Yeah, obviously, you're not going to ask about Maxim unless you've got the World Bank behind you. And I was thinking about asking about Mido, but I didn't in the end. But yeah, he's kind of limited his options, hasn't he, in that respect?
Badgers have one enforced change, and that sees Ashley Live come in for the slightly injured Simeone, who, it was pointed out, the greatest player ever to grace a CM0102 football pitch. Obviously, he is a god amongst men, and should not be considered anything less. I mean, I'm sure if I go on tackles per game, he's not first. He's not in the top 5. He's not even, where is he? How could someone who is so good not even be in the top 30 players for tackle? What the fuck is he?
He shares his work with a lot of big tacklers, though. To be fair to him,
Is that what it is?
Just on that, if I was Tato, if he's playing well, just shut the fuck up and just watch him play well. Don't mention it, because then as soon as he did, he got injured. So it's on him.
I can't, unless I've missed him. He's not in the top 75.
He must be. He's on more than 2.7. Has he not played more than half games or something?
Bizarre. Oh no, there he is, 53rd.
Yeah, well, they've got that DM line of but him and who was it, Desai. I bet they're kind of sharing them out there, aren't they? They've got a light workload in that between the three of them.
I do just want to check, actually. I don't believe there was instruction to swap live and butt around. It would surprise me that Tato hasn't put him on the left, though. Let me just double check it. I don't want, these results are so important at this stage. I don't want to be accused of, live to slot in at DM Elsie. So let me swap him and butt. There we go. This could get messy. Smut's pointing out 9 places above Maresca. That says more about Maresca being down in 62nd, I think. And yet you still continue to play. What I will say is Easy Roberts has had a big impact since coming in the back end of the season, Duggan.
Yeah, and he's the kind of the Tato players, you don't really see them much anymore because they weren't very good for him. And he's kind of sacked off all his favourites, but Zizi's came in at the right time and has had an impact. Tato's becoming, he was the person that came into the league and advocated experimentation and innovation, and now he is just Mr. Conformity, isn't he? He's becoming very boring, playing the same formation, the same tactic file across 3 or 4 different competitions, and smashing it. To be fair to him, so what do I know?
Score predictions then. I believe, Duggan, it's your time to go first.
Yeah, listen, I hope Stanley get in the top 6 because of what Mike's done with this 11 and wider squad, but I think this could be a bit of a bloodbath, to be honest. I think Badgers by at least 2.
Okay, Dimble?
I think it'd be tight, but I think Badgers will edge this one just with the key misses for Stanley.
Okay. They've already hit the woodwork once. Stanley trying to build their way in, and they are creating an attempt or 2, but Badgers coming straight back at them. First goal in this game could be crucial. Sander Westerveld with a save there. Seen Sigalko's name, but not necessarily having attempts on goal. Approaching half-time as Butt goes in the book. I think that was Candeo put one over the bar. Stanley did end the half strong though there, Duggan.
Yeah, loads of Stanley pressure at the end there. And I was just about to say, Tato's had quite a lot of games where he's kind of scored that goal going into the half time over the last couple of game weeks. But Stanley have proved us to be a bit of a mug there. And
this is kind of what Stanley have built their season on, though, isn't it, Dimble? Where they might not be the most attractive team to watch, but they are quite potent in attack, and it doesn't take them a lot of opportunities to score, but they can also restrict their opposition on occasion.
Yeah, they play from a very solid base, very difficult to kind of break down, and like you say, they're quite clinical in the games I've played against. So I think he's taken 4 points off me, maybe even 6, 2 kind of either close games or I was on top. So he's definitely got the right formula at the minute. He'll be hoping he kind of can stretch it out to game week 26 and into the playoffs as well.
With both of these teams and their position going into this game week, is it almost more important not to lose than it is to win, Duggan?
Yeah, because the teams around you, not all of them are going to pick up points, and you're in the 6 as it stands. So these 2 teams would take 3 draws between now and the end of the season, and it would probably be enough. Even for Stanley with their kind of pack look, it would probably be enough. You take a point and run if you both stumble across the line.
It's all about just finishing in them top 6 places.
Yeah.
Nicky Pusk's been sent off.
Ooh. Hello.
Wow. Okay. So One thing I have lauded Tato for is having an actual attacking and exciting bench. In a situation like this, it means there's potentially a lack of options. I can see Zanoni maybe dropping in and one of the strikers being replaced by Agahawa. What do you reckon, Duggan?
Centralise the 2 DMs, no arrows, and I would be bringing Nicky Franco back to MC.
Alf says Nicky Butter's missing a lot of tackles. I can see a red card. Yes, Alf, well done.
Mr. Alf again, strikes again.
Mike says, as is, centralise, no arrows on either, so no tactical change as such. That is interesting. Okay, let's see how that one plays out.
This would be effectively Q clinching from Mike. This if he comes out here with 3 points, might not get the rare Q tonight, but with 6 points to play for, would effectively give him it. Really,
we've got to the hour mark. Based on everything that we've said in this last couple of minutes, Dimble, given that they now have a man advantage, do you think Rose should go and chase the win, or just keep maintaining their current performance levels?
I don't see Mike chasing it. He's been very, very consistent with his tactics this season. This is even the first kind of tweak he's made to the shape. So, yeah.
Smut's also making the same joke.
Well,
class.
That's good on its own, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of Mike and Red Rose, I can't see him kind of chasing it. He might do a little bit, but he's not gonna go mad. He's been very level-headed.
He has said, "Give over, Duggan, you're jinxing it as well."
He is a believer in that sort of stuff. Voodoo Savage. He kind of believes in the not saying things out loud and all that sort of stuff.
Is it a bit like the people who don't believe in clicking a player just before the hour?
Yes, Steve, right.
Steve hates it. Oh, it's a funny old game. It's amazing how a 20-year-old computer game that's based on spreadsheets it still has fully grown men superstitious.
What a bunch of absolute weirdos we are. Like,
yeah.
Duggan,
yeah. And you know what? Like, I think I am like a byproduct of all of this. Is I am much less judgmental about people's hobbies now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I used to, somebody'd say, oh, my hobby is, I don't know, like fucking painting miniature soldiers or collecting stamps or whatever, or, you know what I mean, collecting vinyls. But now I'm just like, listen, mate, if it makes you happy, mate, and it gets you through life, you fucking do you, because look at us. Look at us. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here chatting to 2 strangers on the internet with me Christmas pants on a Sunday night. Do you know what I mean? Going, oh, Nicky Butt sent off. Oh, pretending I'm fucking Des Lynam. It's embarrassing, really.
It's embarrassing. I'm about to get a beer from the fridge just because I'm not nervous about my game tonight.
Oh, funny! You two do entertain me when you're in this mood. So what we've got Roberts off for Saviola.
Why Christmas pajamas? What's happening there? Just why are they not at the back of your drawer or something? What's happening?
Do you know what, mate? It's one of them, innit? Sunday's wash day, so it's like you just open the drawer and hope for the best, don't you? If me left bollock isn't hanging out by the time I put them on, then it's a win.
I've got holes all over my clothes.
yeah, big time.
I'm in my my Under Armour shorts that I was training in earlier. I rocked up so I'm going through my black belt boot camps on Sundays at the minute, leading up to certifying my black belt in May. So it means every Sunday I'm going to do training, and I rocked up all like proper. I had my martial arts trousers on. I had the proper jacket and stuff, and after an hour of star jumps and stuff, it was like fucking Fat Man does the full Monty. I was just losing layers every 5 minutes. The jacket came off, the trousers came off. Like fucking parents in the room were like, "What's the fucking fat bloke over there doing? I got kids in this class, but now I had shorts and t-shirt underneath." I was like, "Fuck me, I'm just not built for fucking exercising in lots of layers."
I thought he was going to say you split your trousers there, which would have been worse.
That's happened once before, and that is the reason I wear my shorts under my trousers.
And that fat bloke could absolutely kick the shit out of you. So be careful what you're saying to him, people.
Yeah, and just Tato and Savage are sitting there going, "Get the fuck on with it." I'm rattling. Don't want to hear about your Christmas pants. Sigalko 1-0 all over this.
Don't want to hear about your Christmas pants or Fyfie sweating in a room full of children. Is that what you're saying?
Well.
Or Fyfie sweating in a room full of children in Christmas pants. Take your pick.
Savio has hit the crossbar as we go into injury time. Sigalko's offside. Here come Badgers. Are we going to get injury time limbs? Davids gives away a free kick, and it's Rossini. Maybe
Here's
one
Matson.
last chance.
Here's Matson.
C-Mac. Medina. Sigalko! Oh, he's put it wide.
He headed it. He should have not headed it. He should have kicked it. It'd have gone in. His heading's a bit poor, isn't it, on this one? But yeah,
Alf, I'm not making any Olympics team, by the way, unless it's in fucking eating. Believe me. The game finishes full time, 0-0. Badgers did create more despite having a man less, but it was quite a wasteful night for both teams in front of goal, to be fair. Realistically, a draw's probably a fair result, but also a draw keeps the majority of teams interested in what's going on. It's probably a better point for Badgers than it is Stanley because they've got their cue. But as you guys were saying earlier, I'm sure at the start of the game, Stanley would have taken a draw at the start of the night. Sigalko rating a 6, not for the first time this season, missing that big chance in injury time. Westerveld did pull off a fair few saves. Fairly decent performance, but nothing substantially exciting for Mike there. Desai putting in a man of the match performance. Here's a question for you both. And I never expected this to be a Super League question at all. But Desai or Jonsson, which is the best?
Desai.
Oh.
And I'm a big fan of Jonsson.
Yeah, if I had a team with Jonsson at centre back and Desai in the middle of 3 DMCs, I'd be a happy man.
Okay.
I think, yeah, Desai is the better DM, I would say.
Okay. Well, congrats both on avoiding the defeat, as we said. That's the most important thing from this fixture. And that means the penultimate game, we're going to you, Duggan. We're saving Dimble to last. Much to his dismay, his head just flew straight back.
I'm convinced. I mean, Swan's, I don't know if he keeps track of when we play and stuff, but I'm convinced that if I'm in the middle, I'll play better. If I'm at the end or at the start, I play shit. And let's just before we get stuck in here, can we have a shout out to Steve's winner this week of the AMC? Make a wish.
Who is it? Fucking hell! He's gonna score, and he's gonna get a man of the match. He's gonna blitz it. Fucking
he's done it!
Yeah. Oh no. Right. Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't scored in 10 reserve appearances this season.
Well, that was before Alfbridge picked the lottery numbers for yesterday's draw, wasn't it? So yeah, we'll see.
Actually, Alf, can we have a prediction on Richiutu's performance, please? Richiuti? Oh, is it Ricky?
Out of interest, before we move on, have you seen Alf's 11, Dimble?
I have not, no.
No, okay. Well, if you haven't, don't put anything in the chat if you have, because Alf has gone a bit maverick on you as well.
Oh, is it? Well, that's similar to what I was saying about Exiles and fucking Edwards. That makes me happy, but then also very scared.
Well, let's do this one first. Still no Dede or Terry in the starting team. Tony and Salas and Mackay don't make the squad, yet somehow, as you said, the Make-A-Wish player does. Van Bommel suspended, the only actual absentee that Steve had to contend with. So he keeps his normal formation, Duggan. Are you concerned? I mean, Hersey's come into midfield as well. Looking at that, does it concern you?
I think the 5 across the middle do. I think if there's one thing the 3 DMC formation doesn't play well against is when people stack that midfield. I think it's largely one of the reasons why Sloth have took 6 points off us this season, because they've got so many in the middle there. I did think long and hard about matching them up. And I thought about 2 DMs and 2 MCs, but ultimately, you've kind of got to play your best 11, and mine wasn't that. Dudley kind of feel as though at times they've looked like, yeah, they're definitely going to be in top 6, and then very, very quickly look absolutely awful. So, all bets are off what Dudley Hillside we're going to get tonight. We aren't particularly great. So, Steve's got a chance to wrestle his destiny back in his own hands tonight if he takes 3 points. Put him on 32 points with me and Dimble on 33, with Dimble yet to play and Stanley not winning. So, yeah, just like Fossey, big opportunity for Steve this tonight.
What I would say that is massive, after, and it became apparent after the other game as well, a couple of game weeks ago, Rustico and Woodgate have formed a very good partnership at centre back for Dudley Hill, and the fact they're both available at the moment. I think, if anything, Steele want him to get this yellow card out the way before the playoffs.
Playoffs?
If he wins tonight,
if he makes it. Fuck's sake.
He's got Frank de Boer. I don't know what you're about. He's got Frank de Boer.
The other De Boer has been dropped to the reserves for the third time this season.
When he said he had that Ricky playing, I was like, oh, fair enough. But then I've just seen he's got Keane and Mackay both available. So
yeah, it makes no sense to me either. As for yourself, you were another one with an unfortunate pack. And Dai and Finnan both suspended. Kuhl's still injured as well, Duggan. So, as you said, you've had to consider the team for tonight.
Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, I am one of the rare managers that's an optimist. I always back the team. I always think, yeah, we're going to take 3 points. We just came off the back of a 5 losses on the bounce spin, and yeah, I'm not feeling particularly great about this 11. And if we do get in the top 6, it'll be because everyone else is worse rather than that we're better. I think the record head-to-head with Steve is pretty grim. So yeah, it's not looking good tonight, but we'll hope it's an Inzaghi 1-0, I think.
Okay. Well, I wish yourself and Steve the very best of luck. Dimble, can I ask you for a score prediction, please?
I'll take a draw here, me. 0-0.
You'll take a draw. Okay, let's see if a draw is available. Cole, very much involved in the first couple of attacks, fails to score, and there is Inzaghi. Oh no!
What the fuck, man?
Duggan's
absolutely gutted. Yeah, Duggan's gutted there.
Robbie Keane's going to have to come on already. Smut said it's better for entertainment if Steve wins. But Duggan, while we wait for Steve to confirm that Robbie Keane's coming on, already 1-0 up.
Yeah, but I've kind of had a habit this season of going 1-0 up and then ended up losing the game. So we'll see, mate. Long way to go.
I'm going to preempt this and have it ready for Steve to confirm. Were you fearing the worst after you saw Joe Cole heavily involved in the first couple of attempts inside 10 minutes?
I think there'll be more of that sort of text just purely because of that 5 across the middle. Steve's going to see a lot of the ball, and it's just going to be about if he can take his chances, to be honest.
Well, he's going a bit more defensive, despite going a goal down, by bringing Malewski on instead of Keane and moving Hersey into that AM position. There's the proof. So let's see if that works out for him. Resume the action. 22 minutes gone. 1-0 to Sancte, who are the home side over Dudley Hill, who are creating chances still, but failing to convert. And Rustico does get that yellow card. So everything's falling into place other than the result for Dudley Hill at the moment. We reach half-time and Sancte are a goal up. Dudley Hill have created 5 opportunities. Sancte just the 3. Both sides were 3 on target. Sancte dominating in the air. Passes, Dudley just shading it. What did you make of the first half, Dimble?
Best Inzaghi ever. As the difference, I think it's very, very tight. Strange substitution again, as well. Strange selection in the first place. Strange substitution is all I'll say from Steve. He must have a plan that I'm not aware of. He
certainly is a man with many a plan going around his head. I've brought his stats up first, so he's got time to reflect. Duggan, let's bring yours up now. 8 for Khan, 8 for Petit. Everyone else on 6s and 7s, but you are crucially a goal up at the break.
Yeah, I think we'll just try and hold the nerve here, Fyfie, mate, and go as is.
Okay, no problem at all. Steve says no plan, just having fun. Well, as long as you're having fun, Steve. Maybe you could try and win as well. Dimble, would it? I mean, not that I like to write storylines and stuff about the Super League, but would there be some sort of poetic irony if Constantinu was to come on and have a say in this game?
Here he comes.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to see, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think against his old boss of many occasions. He loves him that much. He keeps selling him, though. I will say that.
I've only sold him once. I've only sold him once.
It feels like more. It feels like 5 times. I don't know.
No.
He's just starting to get good. He starts. I think Constantinu looks poor at the start of a save, and I think he starts to get good. I don't want to say he's a season 3 player, but Steve could be onto something with him for next season.
Well, we have kicked off in the second half. Sancte looked to have started much the stronger. Malewski goes in the book, and now he's got off injured. So Robbie Keane is definitely going to have to play.
He's just messaged me. He wants Hedman on and swap with Sowachinski. He's had a falling out with Keane, I think.
It's not saying have I sold you Gerrard yet, Doug?
No. It'll be a rare transfer window where that doesn't happen, I think.
I'm just bringing Keane on at this point, and then we'll skip forward a few minutes. Constantinu puts one over, and we reach the hour mark.
Fyfie will go as is, mate.
You're just going as is. Do you want to see conditions at all?
No, you're all right. We'll go as is, mate. The bench isn't great tonight.
Petit putting in a decent performance, which is very important for you, given that you've got the absentees in defensive midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the best DM line I've ever put out, but it's functional at the minute.
Dudley can't make any subs. All they can do is tactical. Dimble, do you see any changes to shape here for what we've seen?
I mean, he could probably make it look a bit better, but I think he trusts his tactics. I imagine he'll stick with it. I think he could probably make the team more balanced, but at this point, he needs a goal. Throwing bodies forward probably wouldn't do that anyway. So yeah, I think keep it the same. Have a bit of faith.
Okay. With what you've seen in the hour of gameplay, Duggan, how do you see this? Are you feeling a bit more confident than you were at kickoff?
No, again, my opening monologue was about, teams being kind of poor and being close because there's nobody really staking a claim. This performance from Sancte kind of fits that mold. It's not as if we've came out and kind of grabbed our own fate by the balls and are 3-0 up or whatever. We're 1-0 up and it doesn't look comfortable at all. And Steve, still absolutely in this.
Well, Steve may be still in this, but he's taking his time deciding if he wants to make any tactical changes or not. Come on, Steve, let us know.
Probably tells us that there's a big message coming, Fyfie, I think.
Which is amazing considering he can't make any subs.
Yeah, he's limited in what he can do.
2 up top, Cole, AMC, Keane up top with Constantinu, maybe.
Yeah, or drop Dekor and Malewski back, put Cole into AM with Keane, both with arrows and longer arrows on the wingers.
Yeah, he just went as is.
All that fucking time for as is. Fuck off, Steve, shithousing bastards.
Fuck's sake.
Let's resume. Do you know what? Just for that, fuck you. Let's hope Sancte win this.
Take a
oh no!
Fuck. There's going to be another. There's going to be a double.
Campbell's been booked.
Fuck.
Corner kick. All the pressure coming from Sancte at this point. Chasing this victory. Can they make it happen? Gallardo, Inzaghi, Petit back. The referee. Oh, Woodgate's got in the book. Free kick to Sancte. Back. Hits the post. Into injury time. And it ends 1 apiece. Instant reaction, Duggan, on the whistle reaction.
As has been the case for most of the season, just not good enough, mate. Not bad, but not good enough. And again, just not a great Sancte side. There'll be a full kind of reset in the summer, I think. Just not really the way I like to play, not really particularly exciting. So, yeah, full reset incoming.
The man who scored the equaliser actually picks up the Man of the Match award. Dimble, realistically, is a point enough for Dudley? Did they really need to kind of get a win here to keep it very interesting for the last couple of games?
They did, yeah. The point's a bad result for Dudley. It's not a great result for Sancte, but it's a worse result for Dudley. They needed 3 wins, I think, from the last 3 games to have a fighting chance of making it. So, yeah, it's disappointing. But still have next season in mind. I think Volodenkov's a quality player, so hopefully he keeps with him as well. I think you got Constantini to come back in and lead the line next season. I think Comodini's going. Still we think about next season now probably.
Well, this brings us to the main event of the evening. East Coast hosting Sloths, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will have already seen some of the changes. We've got a slight formation tweak, but also Collins is up front for the Sloths tonight. The return of Collins.
What the fuck, man, honestly? How's this team took 6 points off me this season? Fucking hell.
Got Steve's reaction to the last result just coming through in the chat. Happy to be in the league.
Happy to be in the fucking hell.
Fuck the players.
It's amazing what a couple of cans of madness does to you. Fucking hell.
He's obviously seen some action this afternoon or something. Because that's
outrageous.
It's an outrageous statement.
Leads the top of the table, and he
leads the top of the table. Yeah, he's
dipped his toe in the water. He's a happy man.
He's a very happy man.
Day's holiday in for tomorrow.
Ronnie Hodgson, we mentioned him earlier. He continues to play in that influential role. The midfield trio that is fucking storming it, and I don't understand why. Baronio, Zidane, and Holland back together again. And Davy Collins leads the line for a Sloths team. 16 deep. Hide the socks.
Yeah.
So Dimble, looking at that team, what's your reaction? Does it make you a bit more confident, or are you like, oh fucking hell, I know what's coming here?
Oh, no, my initial reaction is I'd like to be 16 deep right now. Is my initial reaction. I hate playing against teams like this when it's like you look at it, you think, oh, that's shit. But it hasn't been shit. It's been really good, and I think they beat us early in the season as well. So it'll be 6 points off us as well.
They did 1-0.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to it. Is the answer to your question?
Fyfie, a coast win would be huge. It would put them on 36 points above Haggis. A draw would be, as is basically. A win for Sloths would really fucking shake things up because it would put them on 34 points below Stanley and Haggis, but it would also be East Coast, Cosmos and Sancte out of the top 6 as it stands.
Well, Dimble goes into this without Hussein and without Viduka, both unavailable. Shevchenko leads the line with Stanic coming in at AMC and Shearer on the bench. Talk us through it, Dimble.
This tactic, I did it early in the season, did okay, but didn't tear up any trees. Went back to it last week and got a decent win. So it's a case of just trying to get the best out of Ronaldinho. Zanetti's back, which is a massive help. I think, I look at the team and I don't particularly like it.
Okay.
Maybe that's just because the way they've been playing. It's a bit up and down. Next season, I've agreed a few transfers already, and it's going to look completely different. So I'm excited about that. But at the same time, there's business to be done here. So let's hope we win.
Yes. I'm wondering who's paying too much attention to next season and maybe taking their eye off the ball this season already. Duggan, a score prediction, please?
No smuts. I said a Sloths win would knock Sancte and Cosmos out of the top 6. It's past your bedtime. I think what it should be is it should be 2-0 Cosmos at least. I think it could be a score draw and nothing changes and we're all rattling into next week.
Okay.
That would make the most sense game engine wise, I reckon.
Yeah, or a Davy Collins hat-trick. He got a hat-trick against me, didn't he? Davy Collins brought him on at 45 minutes and he fucking got a hat-trick. Fucking hell.
Well, very little has happened in the first 24 minutes of this game, but there's lots of East Coast text. Very little from the away side at this point. Yellow card dished out. The Sloths do look like they're hitting a couple of counter-attacks now. 3 minutes being added on at the end of the first half. Collins goes in the book. And Etzbury with the last chance. But it is 0-0 at the break, and not exactly a classic by Super League standards, Duggan.
No, what was really interesting was the kind of summary of our own sides from me and Dimble was more or less identical. That we don't particularly like the 11s. We've not been particularly great, but we're kind of hoping we've got enough. And I think that's about 4 or 5 of the teams that are in the mix at the minute.
Mhm.
If Sloths get top 6 this season, we all need to pack up and give up this shit because we clearly don't know what we're doing. If a midfield 3, fucking Baronio, Zinedine Zidane, and Matty Holland get top 6, then I'm wasting my life and I'm going to regret this on my deathbed, which
Matt
I kind of
Holland.
already do. But even
Matt
worse.
Holland, captain, leader, legend.
Yeah,
So I offered the same courtesy. I showed Alf's first, so he had a chance to react. I've gone over to yours now. Dimble, what did you make of the first half performance?
Fucking hated it. I hated everything about it. but we didn't concede, so we roll on. I'm actually gonna make a change if that's okay. I'm gonna bring on
No, I will not allow you to change.
the Alessandro for Zauri because he's been a bit creative for the bench, this lad. So let's hope he can do something. And he's got all that space, hasn't he? He's only got Matty Holland anywhere near him. So
I think that Ronaldinho, Kuhl and Stam deal is the only deal I can think of involving big players where both teams have came off worse.
It killed us
Honestly,
both, didn't it?
Yeah. Like we're both shitter for it. Like,
well, I think we were both. I'll speak for myself. I was pretty shit anyway, and then I got slightly worse. So I don't know about you.
I was third.
So
so
it killed
yeah,
you then, yeah.
Yeah, killed me.
But yeah, it's not worked out, has it?
No, and they're both out the door for me somewhere already. So that's what I think of the two cunts.
Is Stam gone here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Negotiated before the show or while we've been live?
Yeah, I did try for Davy Collins, but clearly didn't have enough to get him over the line.
Yeah.
Well, if Collins wasn't enough, Baronio is off for Marker. Oh no! The Collins love story is over already. Alf saving the players on yellow cards. Double change for Alf at the break. Instantly improves the side, bringing Kurt and Penza on. Let's resume to 60 minutes then and see what these subs, what impact they have. Yellow card for Etzeberia.
I can't be lost with Sloths winning this.
I've seen Penz's name a lot. We pause it on 62. Dimble, I can't imagine you're best pleased with what you've seen in that 15-20 minutes there.
I fucking hated it. Let's can you just pop Alan Shearer in the microwave and just warm him up a bit more? We'll stick him on, please, for Stanic. And we'll put him alongside Shevchenko and Ronaldinho central with a little arrow, or the arrow that's the appropriate size. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, no worries. As for Sloths, they only have the one outfield sub left, unless they want to change the keeper, of course. But they have looked better in this second half, Duggan.
Yeah. What I would probably say is the little interaction where we hurried Alf on his subs the other night is one of my favourite. One of my favourite Super League moments in a long time. I've got that little those little 4 lines which go. I'll just read them to you while we wait because Alf doesn't like the rookie subs. Where are we at? Hang it in the Louvre. Where is it? I can't remember which group it was in. Oh, there we go. I've got it. Alf, I love you, mate, but your subs take forever. Alf, as is Craig. Craig, haha. Tato, 4-2 attacking that, Alf. Go 3-1 down. Craig Duggan, should have thought about your subs there, Alf. And then Alf just goes, Mr. Duggan. It's great.
Instead of actually making a sub, he's sent a message in to say give him 15 minutes.
Oh, listen, you take your time, mate. When you're 70, 79, is he?
79
Even
Not
it,
yet. It's been 78 a while, to be fair.
It took him 79 months to get to 79, so you take however long you need to do this sub, my man, all right?
If I was Alf, I would absolutely just troll the fuck out of us. Like,
Yeah. I'm sure Alf is that. I'm not sure Alf is actually 79. I'm pretty sure he's Campbell in a fucking flat cap on a burner account. Just there purely for the trolling.
I'm not sure Campbell could operate a burner account.
And actually, Alf's IT skills are better than Campbell, so that's the giveaway there, isn't it?
So you're suggesting that Campbell is actually Alf, but with a Scottish accent?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check out the old videos, just have a little look, just to make sure.
This is a long time to wait for a Zinedine Zidane 1-0 dims. Sorry, mate.
I know it just makes it even more inevitable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
and more
painful on him. Yeah.
Well, while we continue to wait, obviously. Oh, hang on, no, it's all right. Don't matter. I can say for an end of show question. Etzbury left.
It's a great pleasure to be part of the first leg of what is an abbreviated Fyfie farewell tour as well. Fyfie, I think we're the first participants in the Fyfie farewell tour, and cheers for your service, mate.
No worries. That was actually going to be my question. How much are you looking forward to next season and the changes that brings?
Depends. I think on what business I get done. I've been so far left behind in the deals that it's unreal.
Oh, there's
the boy. There's the boy. There's the boy.
Into the final 10 minutes. Let's slow it down to know how much Dimble enjoys that as well.
You cunt.
2 minutes being added on. And Penza! Oh, he's missed the target.
Dimble's got half a foot lower as well in his seat. I don't know if you noticed that. We just sliding down.
I've sunk.
Goal kick. We're into injury time. Coast have seen it through. A massive 1-0 win.
Massive.
Dimble, instant reaction in what was not a classic Super League game.
I fucking hated it. It was awful. We're shit, and we nearly got beat, but we didn't. So I think I'm probably 1 win away from the playoffs now. I've got 2 games left. If I make it, I'm probably going to make no impact in the postseason, but at least I'm there. I've achieved the bare minimum. So yeah, it's one step closer to that. Nice to see Mark Giuliano turn up as well, because he's been fucking terrible in the last 3 games.
He's been bad for a while, hasn't he?
He just had like a 5-game period where he got like 6 every week. Yeah, it's weird. He's been really, really, really good apart from that.
And that is as average as Sloths have looked in a long time, Duggan.
Yeah, look, I'm like, greatest to respect, Alf. I'm sure there was logic in playing Davy Collins up top, but it kind of didn't work out, did it?
No.
And Sloth's race isn't ran, but big ask for them now. 2 wins they need.
So that concludes the action for the evening. And again, just the 1 home win tonight. Classified results: East Coast 1, Sloths 0, Exiles 0, Northern Burn 3, Haggis 0, Fulchester 1, LSK 1, Foss Road 2, Sancte 1, Dudley 1, Stackington 0, Vikings 1, Stanley 0, Badgers 0. That leaves the league looking like this. Still Vikings and Badgers, the only ones with the queues secured officially. Vikings 47, Badgers 44. And we've got Burn 38. They have a 2-point gap to Stanley and East Coast in 4th and 5th on 36, who are 1 point ahead of Haggis in 35, themselves 1 point ahead of Sancte on 34. There's a 2-point gap to Foss Road on 32, who are suddenly right back in the equation. Sloths on 31, not out of it. Realistically now, you're probably saying that's about it with 2 games to go. Dudley and Stackington, and even Exile's not mathematically out of it, but you think it's going to be a big, big ask for them to make it. LSK and Fulchester both on 21. LSK in 13th, courtesy of goal difference. So on Thursday, what have we got? We have got Badgers versus Stackington, Dudley Hill, Haggis, Foss Road, Sancte in what could be a fucking season-defining fixture on the penultimate week of the season. Fulchester play Coast, Burn, Stanley. That's another massive game for both teams. Sloths, Exiles, and Vikings host LSK. What's that? 8th says I'm going to have to stay up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for you, Duggan, that it's so close to season 3 because it's a season 3 team, and I think you might be struggling next week, mate.
Yeah, I might do, mate. I might do. I think you probably. Who do you want to be there? You definitely want to be. You definitely want to be Dimble going to Fulchester. I think, with the greatest of respect.
Fulchester have just won their first game in ages as well, though.
Yeah. But you again add in the fact that Macca's going to be tied up with work. He's not going to be live. Little, it's like cigarette paper advantages. If Dimble gets a point there, he's probably in the 6. Given the fact that there's so many of the Chase and Pack playing each other there. Steve with an opportunity to still pull himself back into it. He'd be on 32 if he was to beat Haggis, depending on other results. It's still there. What I cannot be arsed with is still being in the mix and having to wait 10 fucking days until game week 26. So Smuts, if you could kindly put us out of your misery, please, that would be very much appreciated. Yeah.
And Dimble, what's your thought process at the moment?
Just make it into the 6, and then we'll go from there. So I just think about myself, like doing a bit of a selfish thoughts, but it's just one more game, and I should make it. I think 38 points will be needed, or 37 at least, for those people chasing. So there's a couple of people probably out of it now, even if they win both the games. I would suggest.
The goal difference is the other thing, Fyfie. We've seen it happen before where goal difference comes into the equation.
We have.
Stankday and Fosse there are struggling on goal difference. Haggis are +5, Cosmos +3, Stanley +5, which I didn't expect.
Cosmos
so
+4.
That's essentially an added point to the mix, and we've seen teams miss out for that before. So Dimble goes to Fulchester and beat them. He's in the 6, definitely, I think.
I've got a bad record against Macca, so absolutely nothing.
And what's your last game? Last game of the season?
Dudley.
Okay.
I mean, if I don't win one of those 2 games, I don't particularly deserve to be in the playoffs. So that's how I usually do it.
I'm looking at Foss Road there, and they've obviously got Sancte next, and then Haggis. So if they make the top 6, you have to say they've earned it in the last couple of fixtures. To be fair.
Yeah, you kind of. I love that at the back end of the season where you're playing teams that you're chasing, because the impact of the win is so much more significant. I used to love that with Dragons when we were on a run. I wanted to be chasing the teams above, because it was like the perennial 6-point game. Just weird fixtures where you're looking at it thinking, comprehensively one way, but the way this season has panned out, it's not going to go. However we write it down, it's not going to go the way we think.
I mean, the playoffs basically start now. For like Foss Road, like that's basically your playoffs, isn't it? You're in the playoffs now. You win your 2 games to progress.
And Foss Road are in. If they win their 2 games, they're in.
Yep.
They've leapfrogged Sancte, and then they've leapfrogged Haggis. They would. Who've Haggis got next, Fyfie, did you say?
They are away to Dudley.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Steve's going to have one hell of a say in this himself, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got Hopkins last game of the season. What about that for Portry?
Putting a little word in.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Play the reserves for 1 game, and we'll agree a mouth-watering deal for next season.
Can we get Michael Stewart? Can we get Michael Stewart to Los Santos, please?
Yeah. Revenge is a dish best served Los Santos.
Well, gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. As you say, you've kicked off the Fyfie retirement tour now. It's been an absolute joy to go through this game week with you. I'd love to know what's going on with home teams not being able to win games at the minute, but that is not for me to worry about. That is for you, the managers. If you'd like to be on comms on Thursday, then please drop me a message. Otherwise, packs will be out either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how time allows. Duggan and Dimble, thank you very much from Super League HQ. We will see you again on Thursday live in all the usual places from 9:30. Good night.
No, boys.